All right, let's just jump right in. If you've ever had to write your very first research paper, you know that feeling, right? It's like you're standing at the bottom of a huge mountain with no map, no gear, nothing. It feels impossible. But what if I told you there's a system that turns that impossible climb into just a series of simple, manageable steps?
Oh man, we have all been there. That blinking cursor on the screen just taunting you. It's got to be one of the most intimidating things a new researcher faces. You've got all this great data, your head is swimming with ideas, but you're just stuck, frozen, paralyzed by the question, where on earth do I even begin?
Well, here is the secret. It's a total game changer. You're going to stop trying to write a paper. Instead, you're just going to answer some questions. Simple, targeted questions. This system of prompts, it breaks the entire monster of a project down, and suddenly, that scary blank page, it becomes your roadmap, a clear path from start to finish.
Okay, first things first. Every good building needs a solid foundation, right? That's exactly what we're doing here. We're building out your introduction and your methods sections. Think of this as the actual blueprint for your entire study. It establishes the why, as in why anyone should care, and the how, exactly what you did to get your results.
So your introduction, it really has one main job, to answer the question, so what? Right? Why should I care? These prompts are brilliant because they guide you from the really big picture, like, hey, hypertension is a massive global problem, and they funnel you all the way down to your specific community and your specific, precise research question. You answer these, and boom, that vague idea you had is now a razor-sharp, focused objective.
Now, as we get into the how of your paper, you're going to run into terms like this: study design. It sounds super technical and complicated, but don't let it fool you. It's really just your game plan. That's it. A cross-sectional study, for example, is basically like taking a photograph. It's a snapshot in time. And for our example of measuring hypertension, it's perfect design because it tells you exactly what's happening right now.
And the prompts for the method section, they just build it for you, piece by piece. You're not really writing in that scary, creative sense. You're just documenting a clear, transparent process. You state your design. You describe who you studied. You explain how you chose them and how you got the data. See? Each answer just adds another layer of transparency and credibility to your work.
So the foundation is laid. The blueprint is done. Now we get to the really, really fun part: telling the story that's hidden inside your data. Your results section shouldn't just be a list of numbers. No way. This is the big reveal. This is where all your hard work finally starts to pay off with some real, meaningful answers. And every good story starts with the characters, right? The who. So a prompt will ask you to create a simple table, just like this one, to describe who was in your study. Before you can tell your reader what you found, you have to show them who you studied. This sets the context for everything that's about to follow. Then you hit them with the headline, the big takeaway. The prompts guide you to state your single most important finding, clearly and directly, no fluff, just the core result. In our example, it's this: 28% of the population has hypertension. This number is the anchor for your entire results section. Now, notice how the system gets a little smarter here. It's not just asking you a question anymore. It's giving you a specific, actionable command. Visualize your data. Why? Well, because a good visual can communicate a pattern way more effectively than just words alone. And when you follow that prompt, look what you get. Suddenly, the data just comes to life. You don't just know the overall number anymore, you can actually see the story. You can see how the risk of hypertension dramatically increases with age. Now that is the power of turning a prompt into a picture. Okay, you've presented your results. Awesome. But now you have to stick the landing. This is your discussion and conclusion, and you could argue it's the most important part of the whole paper. This is where you have to step back and explain to the reader what it all means in the bigger picture. A key prompt for the discussion will ask you to compare your findings to other studies. Because look, your research doesn't exist in a vacuum. So is your 28% number higher or lower than the national average? But the real analysis, the really critical thinking, comes from exploring why. This is where you join the larger scientific conversation. What's great is that the prompts basically give you a perfect checklist to make sure your discussion is solid. You compare your findings, you talk about the real-world implications, you honestly admit where your study had weaknesses, which, by the way, actually builds trust with the reader, and you point the way forward for the next researcher. It's a perfect formula. And finally, the conclusion. The prompt here is all about being concise and powerful. This is not the place to introduce brand new ideas. Nope. This is your final, memorable takeaway, a tight summary of your main finding, why it matters, and what we should do about it. That's it. Mic drop. So after going through this entire process, from laying the foundation all the way to the final summary, what's the single most important strategy you should walk away with? The one that's going to help you start rating, like, right now. It's this. This is the mental shift that changes everything. Stop thinking about the monumental task of writing a research paper. Reframe it. Your only job is to answer the next simple question in the prompt list. That's it. It's a much, much less intimidating goal. Think of it this way. Each prompt you answer is a brick. You lay them one by one, section by section. You're just focused on that one small piece at a time. And when you finally step back, you realize you haven't just been laying bricks. You've built a complete, solid, and impressive structure.
So the intimidation of the blank page? It's gone. The process is no longer some big mystery. It's a clear blueprint. The only question left is the one that started it all. The one that only you and your data can answer. What story are you going to tell?